Hello and thank you for choosing Grand Home Designs. My name is Ryan. I'm a designer draftsman here at Grand Home Designs, as well as the contact for any technical issues you may have during the design process. Our office phone number here is 817-696-0520, and you can just ask for Ryan for any issues you may have. Today in this video we're going to be covering how to download and install Sketchup Viewer so that you can view the models that we'll be creating for you. I will try and cover everything I can in this video. If there's any issues that aren't covered in this video, I do have the ability to connect directly to your computer using a remote access application. It's Google Chrome remote desktop, and I will make an additional video showing you how to download and install that if you need that. In this video we'll mainly be covering Sketchup Viewer, how to access the files that we'll be sending you, and some of the tools in Sketchup Viewer. So first things first, you need to open up an internet browser. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm using Google Chrome, and you can just search. Any search engine should be able to find it. I'm using Google Chrome, so it's going to default to search with Google. But you just search for Sketchup Viewer. Should be the first link that comes up. Select that, and then once you're on that page, down here at the bottom, you'll select Desktop, and then this red button that says Download Sketchup Viewer, there's an arrow on the end of it. You'll select that and pick your operating system. I'm on a PC, so I'm going to choose Windows. It'll also work on Macintosh, and the download and install process is pretty much the same. There's a few different windows that you'll be prompted on a Mac, but it's pretty self-explanatory. There's one in particular that does not show up on Windows, which is after it downloads and installs, it'll ask you to drag the Sketchup Viewer icon into the applications folder. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. So for PC, I'm going to select Windows, and it's going to start downloading right here for Google Chrome in the bottom left-hand corner. If it's another internet browser, a lot of them, including Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, and Mac's default internet browser, will all download starting right up here. Google Chrome, you can just click this once it's done downloading. When you click it, it'll open up the installer. Windows, especially Windows 10, possibly Windows 8, has a window that prompts you to select yes or no on if you want to allow it to make changes. It may not be showing up on this video right now, but if you're on a Windows computer, then it will ask you that, and you can just select yes. When you select yes, it's going to start the installer. I'm going to minimize my browser window, and then we just go through the installing wizard. Click next. Click next on where it defaults to install the program, and then hit install. It's a relatively small program, so it should install pretty quickly. And then once it's done, click finish, and somewhere on your desktop it will have installed a desktop icon that you can click to open it. But first, I want to show you how to access the files that we'll be sending you. Uh, so you'll need to go to your email program, whether it be an internet-based one like Gmail, which is what I'll be showing you today. But the process is the same if you're using something like Outlook. We will just have sent you an email that gives you a link to our Google Drive where we will store those model files because they're large files. So they don't always, sometimes they're too big to email. So we'll just store them on our Google Drive and send you a link to that folder that will have your name on there. But once you click that link, it'll bring you to this page and you can click open, which then will take you directly to that folder on our Google Drive. And there should just be one file. It'll be an SKP file, which stands for Sketchup. And you just need to download that onto your computer. So you right click it, click download, and it will start downloading on Google Chrome down here in the bottom left. Once it's done, it will have downloaded it to your downloads folder, which you can find on a Windows computer by going to your Explorer folder, which is this icon, or if you hit your Windows key and E at the same time on the keyboard, that will also open it. On a Mac, it's just your downloads folder is located in your Finder, which is generally the far left icon on your dock on a Mac computer. And then you would just go to downloads on that. So here we'll select downloads, and sometimes it might default to a different view than this one that has all the details. Sometimes it's defaulted to something like this with the large icons on there, and they are not always in order. So if that's the case and you're having trouble finding it amongst a lot of other downloads, you can switch to this pane right here, and you can browse by date. So if you select that, it'll toggle back and forth between the most recent and the furthest back download according to the date. So here's the model file that we want. You can open it directly from the downloads folder, or you can locate it somewhere else by cutting it or copying it somewhere else. I'm going to cut it out, paste it directly on my desktop, and then you can just double click that file on the desktop and it will open up SketchUp Viewer. With this being the first time that we're opening it, it's just going to ask you to agree to the user agreement. So just select this box in the left hand corner, hit continue. And it'll take a second to load, but then your model should come on the screen. And so I just want to go over a few of the tools available to you. Generally, when we're creating models, our main focus is the exterior of the home, the overall shape, and roof line, and just trying to get a feel for what the outside of the house looks like. So that'll be generally what we'll be sending you models for. However, in this particular model, which is an unfinished model currently, but it's just what I'm using for example, it does have some interior finish outs on it, so I'll show you some tools to view the inside of the home if when we send you a model, if it does in fact have some interior finish outs on it. I can show you the best tools to view that. But we'll start with the outside, and there's a few tools that you might use to view it. One of The first ones to cover probably is this pan tool that's represented by this hand. You can select it up here on the left-hand side of your screen on a Windows computer, or you can just hit H, the letter H, as in house, on your keyboard, and it'll switch to that. What the pan tool does is, if you click and hold on the screen, then you can drag from left to right, right to left, or up and down. And then if you want to zoom in and out, if you have a scroll wheel on your mouse, you just roll that forward, roll that backward. The Mac mouse doesn't have one, but still has the trackpad that you'll zoom in and out with. This next tool, shortcut to another tool, does require the mouse wheel. So if you click and hold the mouse wheel, it'll switch to the orbit tool, which allows you to rotate around the house. If you don't have a mouse wheel, you can get to the orbit tool up here. When using the orbit tool, you just click and hold, and then turn the model, and just move it back and forth, clicking and holding as needed to view the model. Now sometimes when you rotate the model, the view of the camera will get real close to the house. You just roll your mouse wheel back, zoom out, start rotating again. Sometimes you'll need to switch back to your pan tool and zoom out, move it over, switch back to your orbit tool, and continue to rotate. So those are pretty much the basics for viewing the outside of the house. We'll take it to the inside. So if you just zoom in, you can go through walls or doors. It does, however, kind of the camera will kind of hang up in the wall or in the door. You just keep rolling the mouse wheel forward, and you'll eventually pop in there. The best ways for viewing the interior of the house is to, you want to check one thing first. If you'll come up to the camera menu and then click this field of view, down here in the bottom right hand corner, it's set to 60 degrees. Mine is by default, and that's a good number to go with. Sometimes you'll open this and check the field of view, and it'll be somewhere around like 35, and it really kind of makes the interior of the house a little disproportionate to real life. So just all you have to do, like I said, is go to camera, click field of view, and then if it is at 35, all you have to do is type 60 on your keyboard and hit enter, and it'll switch to 60-degree field of view, which is, like I said, a good number to use. The next thing you do to set the camera up is switch over here to the look around button. It's represented by the eye, and that will set. You can also set your camera height. Right now it's set at 5'9½". I'm 6 feet tall, so if you go on your keyboard, type 6 and apostrophe to represent feet, and then hit enter. It'll move the camera up to 6 feet from the floor. If once you get that set, you can stay in one place using the same eye tool, clicking and holding and rotating the camera in the direction you want to turn. But what I feel is a better tool to use is after you've set up your camera height, switch to this walk tool, move your cursor to the middle of the screen, and then switch over to your keyboard, and you can use your arrow keys to walk forward and backward, turn right to left, or just rotate 360. Now, the thing I like about this tool is when it comes to objects that would be solid in real life, like a wall or even this column, it won't allow you to walk through that with the camera. So it keeps you from getting the camera kind of hung up in walls, which can be confusing to get in and out of. So it helps with a little bit of the realism, as well as keeping you from getting locked up in walls. And so you can pretty much, some objects you can walk over the top of with the camera, while others you cannot. Take this couch for example. If I try to walk over the back side of it, it won't let you. But if you walk around to the front, the couch cushion is low enough that the camera will hop over the top of it. So you just kind of get the feel for moving around the camera just using your arrow keys. It's pretty simple, kind of like a video game. And as I said before, you can go through openings as long as they're open. Now, take this closet down at the end of this hallway, for example. The doors are closed, and this walk tool will not allow you to go through that door. When we send you models, we'll do our best to make sure all the doors are open so you can view all the rooms. A lot of the time, we may show like closets, small closets. We may leave those doors closed, but you still can actually go into those rooms. Just you can't use the walk tool to do that. So if you wanted to go in that closet, the camera's gonna have a tight space to look at because it's a small room. But if you switch over to the eye again, which is the look around tool, and then use your mouse wheel and just zoom. Like I said before, it'll take a second to kind of pop through there. Just keep zooming, kind of zoom slowly. Eventually, you'll pop into that room, which you'll know you're there when you can see the floor and the ceiling line. So there's not much to see here in this hall closet. That is one way to get through doors that are closed on the model. Generally, I like to stick to the walk tool and just go through my openings. And as you see, when I switched to the eye tool and kind of zoomed in, it changed the camera height. So you might want to switch back to that, change it to the height you had it, hit enter, and then switch back to your walking tool. And then that'll keep the camera at the correct height. So just a couple other tools to go over. These icons up here represent different preset camera locations. So you can click front to view the front of the house, click the right side, which it may not be perfect. You may have to zoom in and out, but they're just kind of quick little things to get you in different locations. View the top of the house. Some other icons that are on there are just the modes that you can view the model in. Currently, it's on the shaded with textures. That's probably what we'll be sending you, a model already set up with textures, so that'll be the one that you want to be on most of the time. But you can do things like this X-ray mode. When you click it, it takes just a second, it'll load up. And it allows you to kind of get a little X-ray view from the outside to view the interior of the home. There's back edges, which just is almost like X-ray, but there's a few more textures on there. These two right here can be turned on at the same time as these other icons. So if you click this one, for instance, which is hidden line, the back edges one is still on there. So if you deselect that, it'll get rid of that sort of look-through mode that's on there. So you can just kind of toggle through that. But like I said, we'll be sending you models with textures. So to get the textures to show up, you have to be in this shaded with textures icon. That's pretty much it for all the tools you need to know to view the model. If you have any questions, like I said, you can just contact me at the office. My name is Ryan, and our phone number here is 817-696-0520. If there's any big problems that you're having that I can't help you with over the phone, we do have the option for me to remote access your computer while you're looking at the screen, and I can talk to you and run you through any issues you may be having and show you how to correct them, or just correct them for you, or just show you some tools if you're having issues with the tools on Sketchup. We look forward to working with you. Thanks for watching this video. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.